What if the very thing you're trying to rush through is the place where God is trying to meet you? Hello, my friends. Come on in. I always consider it a gift to be able to spend this time with you. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm glad you found your way here. I want to extend an extra special warm welcome to you. I'm Lucy Ann, and here at Amazing by Design, we intentionally take a pause from the noise and the busyness of our everyday lives, and we come together to have honest conversation about how our faith intersects with our daily lives and what it looks like to live connected with God from the inside out without pressure or performance. So around here, we like to grab our coffee or our tea. So if you can, grab that mug and let's settle into today's conversation. There's something that I've noticed lately. Actually, it's a conversation that I find myself having over and over again with my clients, with my friends, and even with myself. I noticed that many women spend a great deal of their lives believing they should be somewhere other than where they are. Further along, their healing should have happened by now, more confident, more certain, more productive, even more spiritually mature. You go ahead and fill in the blank for you. And because they believe that they should be somewhere else, they often struggle to fully inhabit where they are. Maybe you've experienced that too. You look around at your life, and instead of appreciating what is present, your attention immediately goes to what's missing. You notice all the gaps, the distance from where you are and where you think you should be, all the unfinished projects and ideas that still haven't come to life, the thing you thought would have happened by now. And before long, that gap, it begins creating anxiety within. Oh, I understand it's not noticeable to anyone else. But you are very much aware of how much energy that's really taking up. And consequently, you begin pressuring yourself to move, to fix, to figure things out. And what I've come to realize is that many women are trying to get somewhere while God is trying to show them something right where they are. And this, it causes me to ask, how many moments of God's faithfulness have you and I missed because we're so focused on getting to the next place? I know I've done it years ago, long before Amazing by Design ever existed. I knew in my heart I was supposed to start a podcast. It was something I had been praying about. I did the research, I took the courses, I listened to other podcasters, I sought wise counsel. I wasn't resisting the assignment. I was actively preparing for it. And yet, there was no release, no green light. And for me, that was so frustrating because from my perspective, I was ready. What I couldn't see at that time was that God was doing something far more important than what I was measuring. He was positioning me, preparing me. He was removing things that no longer belonged in my life. He was creating capacity within. He was teaching me new levels of stewardship. He was deepening my trust with him. And while I was measuring progress by whether or not the podcast had launched, God was measuring progress by how I was surrendering to his lead, how I was allowing him to form me into the podcaster he had always designed me to be. Not like other podcasters, but how I was uniquely to show up in this space. And as I was processing that, I was reminded of a dream I had a long time ago. And I didn't understand the significance of it at the time, but now it is so clear to me. I was sitting on a horse. Now, those of you who know me well, you know I love horses. So that in itself wasn't a surprise. But I was sitting on a racehorse in the starting gate on a racetrack with other horses. But the gate wasn't opened, and my horse was the restless one. And God showed me I was being like that restless horse. I wanted the gate to open. I wanted it to open now. Think about this. As humans, we measure progress by arrival. God measures progress by formation. That realization right there changes everything. For me, it helped me to understand that the closed gate wasn't evidence that something was wrong. It was evidence that my race hadn't started yet. What I interpreted as a delay, God was using for preparation. Many women look at their lives and they assume something is wrong simply because they aren't where they expect it to be by now. But today, I want us all to consider a different perspective. What if you're not behind? What if you're not off course? What if God is developing something in you that can only be developed right now in this season? What if the very thing you're trying to rush through is the place where God is trying to meet you? I've come to realize that peace becomes available when we stop arguing with our lived reality. Take a moment and breathe that one in. Now, that doesn't mean we stop growing or stop dreaming or that we stop pursuing what God has placed on our hearts. But it does mean this. We are being asked to become present in our everyday lives so that we can discern what God is doing in us right now. And when that happens, perspective shifts. Urgency begins to lose its grip. Comparison loses its voice. And all that overthinking that we like to do, it begins to soften. We find trust begins to grow. And stewardship replaces striving. And rest becomes possible. All because we are no longer living according to our own timeline or expectations, but we're living with God in the here and now. And maybe that's the invitation for today. Not to figure everything out, not to force the next step, not to rush the process, but simply to stop fighting where you are so that you can discern what God is actually trying to show you now. Because the reality is, God can only meet you where you are, not where you wish to be, not where you thought you would be by now, not where someone else is, where you are right now. And just maybe the place you've been trying to rush past is actually the place where God is waiting to meet you. And here's the thought to remember and to ponder this week. Stop fighting where you are so you can discern what God is actually wanting to show you right now. And on that note, this feels like a great place to bring this conversation to a close. And if you're desiring to keep having conversations like this, where we slow down, we step away from the noise, and we learn together how to live from who we truly are, you'll find me here each week. And if you feel led to explore this work more deeply, there's a link in the show notes where you can schedule a discovery call with me. It's there when the time is right for you. But for today, as you step back into your day, hold on to this truth. You are chosen. You are loved. You are amazing by design.